Alright, timestamp. It is July 27th, 2026. It's almost midnight. This will probably be my second entry technically for the one day. Currently feeding the dogs. This is what I'm contending with. But I set up some kibble in another one of those like hamburger style whatevers. And Sam just pushed Scrappy out of the bowl. Yep. Sammy has food insecurities to where we're now playing the Hunger Games over here. Scraps, I got you. Since she's determined to be a complete jackass. Yep. Yeah, well, you can't guard everything, can you, Sam? Uh-oh. Making you fight on more than one front. There's an Irish guy, Sunny Zoo or something like that, that said something about that being problematic. I'm pretty sure. Sunny Ozu, something like that. The Art of Long-Term Battles. Wrote a book. Either it was read or a lot of people read it. No, that's something. Hearing the words of my friend Jay in my head. I can't with you. Everybody eats in this household. How are you? So, doing last of the Starbucks. Not the last of, we still got some in the bag, but apparently I'm killing off the Starbucks medium breakfast blend, whatever. Sam, you seem so torn, man. Guarding that bowl, and there's other piles, and oh no, what do I do? Yeah. Determined that everybody's gonna get, like, you know, food. Did this once earlier today, too. The dilemma with him was really interesting to watch from a psychology standpoint. And you could see him, like, getting up from the bowl, starting to move towards the other stuff, and then realizing I've left the bowl unprotected. Back to the bowl. Meanwhile, the other two are munching happily, you know, with the stuff that I put on the floor next to it. Yeah, kind of next to it. And clean the bowl. Scrappy grabbed a piece or two, but then Sammy pushed him out, so. Scraps, you still hungry? The games have begun. Okay. Alright. I can do another round of Where's My Kibble? We can do that. It'll work better if I get the cup that I'm using. So I've got 3 Banker boxes of books. I'm going to put a half of this in Sammy's bowl, since apparently it's his bowl. There you go. That's what we're doing. Eats. Scrap eat. I know you're a good boy. You're kind of waiting for permission. Go ahead. There you go. No, Sam, you got the bowl right there. There's kibble in it. Yeah. I don't want to have to set up extra food stations around the house, but that may become a thing. What a pain in the ass, right? Square footage is at a premium right now, so. Tannhauser just left the room. I think he got some food though. I mean, I know he gobbled up that hamburger, but again, with his mouth, he got a pretty big pile of that stuff. Trying to make sure everybody's, needs are accommodated. No problem. Luckily, there's only 13 life forms in this house. Make sure everybody's taken care of. Okay. Need to boil some eggs too. We need to get some eggs tomorrow. Yeah, got up this morning. And Pix looked out the window in the back and was like, "Oh shit." She's like, "Well, we could still mow after it's over." I'm like, "It's not going to be over for like 5 hours." And at that point, the lawn at George, because the goal was go to George, mow the lawn, load the car, talk to the peeps, and skedaddle. I'm like, it's not going to be dry. It's not going to be dry. It's going to be still getting wet while we're there. And then it's going to be saturated, which makes high wet grass. You can, but it's ugly. It's slow, it jams your mower up. You're talking to the Gen X kid who was the lawn mower in the neighborhood from age 12 through 16, and a little bit beyond that too. Once I was able to get a regular job, though, I didn't mow as many lawns. I still kept like a couple of clients, but for the most part, it was like, it's time for you to find somebody else. But like there was an old lady next door. I continued to do her lawn, and there was a older couple down the block that they had like a grandchild that they were raising. I don't even know. But I continued to do theirs. But everybody else, I pretty much was like, I'm kind of working a regular job now, working 30 hours a week there. The other two was like, I'm going to get you once a month. During summer, I'll try and get you twice, because summer down here, when it rains a lot, funny thing about, green stuff, when it gets wet, it grows more. I think they even touched on that, like in science class. Something about water and sunlight. I don't know, I could be wrong. It's a long time ago, you forget things. But, yeah, once I got a regular job, but for many years I was the lawnmower, the babysitter. Yes, I was the babysitter, the house sitter. There were other responsible kids in the neighborhood. A couple of them came from like situations where they were given like $50 allowance a week. I could not relate with those problems. We were a middle-class family living in a upper middle, lower upper environment, which essentially made me the poor kid. It's kind of weird. One of. But the other responsible dude in the neighborhood was usually doing like athletic stuff. Actually, one of my friends growing up went to high school with him too. But he was always doing like BMX biking and swim team and stuff like that, so his time was real limited. He was a jock, but he wasn't really. He was a nerdy guy, still is, still around. A nerdy, great guy who just happened to like sports. He didn't hang out with any of the teams or anything like that, which made him kind of weird, because he was always getting invited. Hey man, we're having a party Friday night, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be gaming with my friends, actually. You still coming to the game, right? Well, yeah, I'm on the team. I'm going to be at the game, but I'm not going to the party. Meh. We're going to get pizzas and or maybe raid a Taco Bell and we're gonna game all night long. That's weird. Yeah, okay. I respect him for that, actually. In the 80s, being someone who was on the sports teams but not actually the jock mentality kind of thing. Because some of the stuff you see in the movies, the Weird Science and the Breakfast Club and stuff like that, yeah, it was real. That could be very real. hmm They were not always a nice clique. They had a real superiority thing going on, which um, I know that's probably true with every generation, and whatnot. But I question the standards of measure in those situations greatly. You're not better than me because you're the wide receiver on the football team. You're not. You're not. But I was an honor student who was like the drama nerd, so you know. Not saying that I was better than them, but I certainly was at least equal. And some are more equal than others. Yes, I've read that book. We're living it politically right now. Everybody keeps bringing up 1984. I think we're on the farm. Yep. Yep. We got Napoleon sitting behind the big desk that apparently is very resolute. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Still angry about Boxer. Just such a gut punch. It's like Piggy in Lord of the Flies. Such a gut punch. Anyway, these things affect me. That's some good coffee. So we're going to try again tomorrow. Apparently it's going to be raining all week, but tomorrow looks like, or almost today. It's almost today. Looks like it's going to be the lightest day. Doing the whole, 7-day forecast. It's going to rain for an hour or two later in the afternoon. Maybe. We're guessing. They're guessing. So we'll try and do it again. So I'm not going to be up real late. That's why I'm doing my recording now. Health check. I did nap today. Took like a 2-hour nap in between stuff. Woke up pretty good. Doing things. I do want to get the dishes going before I go to bed too. Pix is already passed out in the master bedroom. I'm not going to bother with a shower. I'll get a shower in the morning. I want to wake her up. Do want to do dishes though. That would be smart. Didn't actually empty the bowl this time. See, day before he emptied the bowl like that, Sammy, 3 times, and then yacked everywhere. Because he was so determined to have all the food that he gorged himself and then that, really nice. It was great. Love it. We're trying to fix this place. We're trying to clean it up. Please do not add swamp water to the floor. Please. Thank you. He's a great dog, but apparently there are some food insecurities going on. Not sure how to deal with that. We'll do some research online with animal behaviorists. Since beating him probably won't, convey the point. would tell him that I resort to violence, which I actually don't. And I wouldn't want to beat him on that. Clearly he's got some issues, and I got to figure out how to help him through those issues while making sure the other two dogs don't become malnourished and the floor doesn't become a swamp. We didn't have this problem before, but they've been separated because Sammy and Scrappy know each other, you know. But I brought Scrappy here with me, and Sammy stayed behind with Mom. They haven't really been around each other for like 14 months. He's been over for a couple of play dates kind of thing, but he is also going to have to learn how to cohabitate. And there's a new little Yap Yap, you know. Because we have Duke Tannhauser, who deserves to eat as well. Yeah, this is new. I don't know. Typically pretty good with dogs, so I'm sure I can come to solutions that will please everyone. Need to boil some eggs too. On the way back tomorrow, we need to stop at like an Aldi. There's like 3 on the way. But stopping at an Aldi would be smart. Stock up on bread because we have a half a loaf, and get about 3 dozen eggs because we go through some eggs in this house. I'm so glad it's not $7 a dozen anymore. Which, by the way, Napoleon had nothing to do with the prices going down. Not a thing. But apparently they had, just in case you don't know this, they apparently spiked when they spiked because there was a bird flu epidemic that went through, and the not hatcheries exactly, but the egg farmers had to like slaughter a lot of their livestock because they were infected. So supply went down. They asked more for it. Now they did get in trouble, which is an investigation that started under Biden, because apparently they raised the prices, which kind of allowed to do that a little bit, but then they went a little further than they were supposed to. I know it's shocking that, like, corporate America would take advantage of the little guy. I know, you're like, they don't do that. Okay? They do not do that. They're not greedy. They ask fair pricing for everything that they manufacture. Yeah, they went further and longer than they were supposed to, and they did get in trouble for it. But, yeah. That doesn't help you or me. So yeah, at Aldi right now, eggs is a historical date stamping thing. If somebody's like, hey, what was the actual price? I don't trust AI. The actual price of a dozen eggs at Aldi right now is $1.64. So, for very little money, you know, $5, you could put 3 dozen eggs in your fridge. You can do a lot with that. That's pretty cool. And we normally have hard-boiled eggs and all that here, just for free grazing. The hopper's empty. Got a dozen, almost 2 dozen eggs in there I need to boil up. Yeah, that would be smart. And I really haven't eaten that much. I'm gonna have some oatmeal. That sounds good. I'm gonna have some oatmeal. I got all kinds of frozen fruit in there. Raspberry, blackberry. I think I have some blueberries. I have some mushrooms too, but I don't know that would work well with the oatmeal. I say that because I almost grabbed that the other day. I was doing something, I wanted some like frozen fruit. The bags are really similar. I grabbed a bag and I was like, nope. That, although yummy, will not work for what I'm doing. That would be an awful surprise. trying to grab some raspberries and you grab like, a handful of mushrooms. Not the same flavor family that you're looking for. Not so much. So good. So yeah, we'll go out in the garage real quick. Haven't done a huge amount, but I've done some stuff. And I've done a lot of little things that you're not really going to notice. I'm going to move that bowl back where it's supposed to go. Is that alright? Good, thanks. Kids. Still some kibble on the floor, too. Oh, okay. The reason Tanner left the room is he peed over here. That was unexpected. Tiny and I got trash out earlier. Because it is Moon Day. Going into Tears Day. Doodle. You alright, bud? You okay? Hey. You okay? Yeah? Yeah, there's food over there. There's some kibble. I've got a food bowl tucked in the rolling table over here. Way out of range of doggos as far as where they go. So, and that's one that Janus can get to too, because it's not too hot. That's actually where he was lounging. He was quite satisfied with that little cave that he had found. So I moved those long foam pieces to the top. I moved all those boxes out and filled in some of the gaps there. And then, I'm going to kick that real quick because it's fun to do in Crocs. Gotta kick things with open toe. Working on clearing the pantry area, sorting my toys, but filled in the boxes over here so that when I start walling up that area with other boxes, the cabinets and things like that, I'm not going, oh, look at all that wasted space, because any space that we waste, we're gonna be sad about and or pay for later, just because we're gonna need we need the square feet, we need the inches, But I gotta clear this tall rolling one. This guy, because that's where my sorted toys are going to go, and it's going to get pushed back to here. And where my toys are right now is going to be our bulk pantry with the MREs, canned goods, peanut butter, all that stuff. I got a plan. It'll work. But just a little BS along the way. One brick, right? Then I gotta not sort exactly, but go through these 2 remaining tables that my dad built that are just junk piles at this point. That's what we do. From a hoarding standpoint, right? Got most of the books off that top shelf now, which is cool. Just got that little pocket right there of, when I say cookbooks, I'm not kidding. Those white ones, those are all cookbooks. Those are all cookbooks. Those are all cookbooks. Most of those are cookbooks. So, the whole back row is cookbooks. The white ones. So yeah, cookbooks. The back row's cookbooks. The front row and the little stack there may not completely be cookbooks. Probably only about half. But let's see, it's about 20, another 15, another 15 to 20, 40, 60, 70. There's probably about 100 cookbooks right there. Yeah. That's going to be 3 banker boxes. It's at least going to be 2, and we'll be probably halfway into a third. And we've had dozens of banker boxes full of books, and it's been about that kind of ratio cookbook wise. So yeah, when I say there are thousands of cookbooks here, I am being literal, not figurative. An overweight foodie who hoards. That seems like a natural category, right? Cookbooks and glassware. Yep. So, got that. Good. Saying good because that. You eat, buddy. He's scared of the fan. So when I have the fan on, he bolts. So if I turn the fan off at night, he can go back there and eat without, because he won't even go near it. And you have to cross the fan pretty much, go next to it to get to the food. Some challenging little mini quests in this game, huh? You good, Hex? Cleaning those thunder paws? Yeah. Love that cat. Yeah, once I move this big rolling table here, I won't have to squeeze around the corner anymore. That'll be cool. I'm clearing that floor over there because there's still kibble on the floor. You guys are passed out. I feel like you guys are playing chicken with the food. You can eat, Strap. You can go ahead and eat, buddy. He's got the food in the bowl. He shouldn't bother with the pile that's on the floor there. And if he does, go eat the food in the bowl. Of course, right? See, I'm packing glassware. Shocking. Packing books. Shocking. I've got these guys ready to go. Those 3 boxes of books ready to beam up. Glassware. Some of it's just regular glasses and plates and whatnot. And then I come across stuff like this. I looked it up. Because it's not what I do. If it was an action figure, I'd have a clue about it, It's branded Fenton. I looked it up. Apparently it is a Fenton Silvercrest milk glass basket. Dusty as hell. But apparently those go for basically $20 to $50 online, depending on condition. Gonna probably put it out the garage sale for $20, and I'm not haggling. Because I see it. Sometimes people will Google Lens something, and they're like, oh, wow. And it's like, no. I don't want to have to sell it on eBay because I'm afraid it'll break before it gets to its destination. But I'm not going to take $5 for that. You know what I mean? If you want to pay me $20 and try and get $40 on eBay, cool, but you're going to give me $20. It's as low as I'm going. Some people at the garage sales are just downright insulting. You take $1? No, I won't. What you're holding is worth $20. I'm not going to take $1. Really? I understand wanting to get things cheap, but why don't I pay you to take it? Would that work out better? You know what I mean? It's like not asking extortive rates here. I'm asking fair market or even lower than, and you're wanting to put a nickel in my hand or something. This is for you. Bugger off. Typically, I like people. I do. But there are moments. So yeah, tomorrow, yeah, get a carload, mow the lawn, and let a couple people know that the house is about to go up for sale. Let's see what happens. There's a weird nostalgic sadness to this because that was our, starter house, but it's done its job. So this is weird. I've never sold a lot of things in my day. Never sold a house. This is new. I don't know. See what happens. Let me go ahead and call it here. Make some oatmeal. That's sounding pretty good. Get the dishes going. I always like starting the dishwasher before I go to bed because that way it has all night to do its business, and this dishwasher takes like 6 hours to run a complete cycle, which again, I've mentioned this once before. I don't know if that's normal because it's been a while since I've had a dishwasher in my life. We had like 3 at George, not at the same time, but the hard water in that area just kept killing them. And eventually we were just like, this is stupid. We're buying a new dishwasher like every 3 to 5 years. This is stupid. Because it was like gumming up and choking the guts out of it. Just, this is not working. So, but none of those took like 6 hours for a full cycle. I don't know. Very strange to me. I mean, it is what it is. We're dealing with it. It's not like, if that was the biggest problem that we've got in our lives. Oh, honey. You're right there, Sam. You okay? Your butt can't taste that good. No. There's no way that's ambrosia. I'm good, thank you. I'll have oatmeal. Kids. So yeah, working my list. Because, work your list. Yeah, eggs. I need to do the eggs and the dishes. I can do that simultaneously. That's easy. Oatmeal. And then, yeah. Get some sleep. Get up early-ish. And do what we can do. Entering an interesting new main quest event here. Necessary for story progression, Going to be triggering some cinematics tomorrow. Got one in my head now. Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for this girl. This man reaches for tools that get used in fireplace. Yeah, this exchange is going to work out fine. Mm-hmm. We're off to a good start. Got Counselor Troy in the head. Captain, I sense hostility. They did a lot more with her character later on, but some of the stuff in season 1 was just like they raised shields and started firing phasers at us, and you're going to tell me that you sense hostility? Wow, man, I'm glad you're on the bridge. Whew, that was useful. Yeah. I don't know what we do without you at this point. That was like critical information. You know, what with the hole in our hull on deck 14 through 16 and people being sucked out into space because they, fired at us. Hostility. Okay, ponder that. You know what I mean? Come on. That's some good writing right there. So, hug your parents, hug your kids, make sure your dogs get fed. Beat them accordingly. Kidding, don't do that. Yeah. You guys. Alright. Make it a great day.